GG.
That's my friend! And you're found you!
What's up? Hello? Hello. We'll talk about kills today, okay? And let me start off by saying kills are an almost entirely useless stat. As a stat, you know? If you think about kills as a stat, you think KDA. Kills are pretty much useless in that way, you know? But kills do have a lot of utility. That's kind of the... It's kind of the difference, you know? What does a kill even mean? Let's start by thinking about that. It shows that in a given moment, a taken risk was capitalized on. Someone had to be disrespected or underestimated in some way for a kill to happen, you know? In a perfect game, nobody would die. In a sense, you know, everybody would know exactly their limits. How much damage can I put out without dying? The other person would know the exact same thing and they would just back off at the perfect timing. Nobody would die. Everybody would use their abilities perfectly, you know? But the reality, of course, is even the best players in the world die all the time because League is too complicated, you know? And kills are not useless, of course. They're very important to kill the Nexus. And they show kind of, that you can capitalize on a mistake, which is very important. The reward of a kill is experience and gold, you know? And also the denial of the potential experience and gold for the death timer and walk back onto the map, you know, from the enemy. During his death timer, he can't farm gold and he can't get any experience. That's just what it is, you know. And there's good and bad deaths, of course, but this is not about deaths, it's about kills. So there's also good and bad kills. Imagine Dragon is coming up, you're in the side lane and you're using your ult for a 1v1. Now you don't have your ult for a dragon fight, so that might be a bad kill. Even though you kill the enemy, deny him gold, you know, the value of your ult would have been much greater if you used it at the dragon fight and got like 4 kills or got the objective, etc. You know, so it's not the same thing. Also, if you die late on in the game, of course, it also means that the Nexus cannot be defended, you know? You can't defend the Nexus while being dead. And there's also, like, other contexts for which, you know, deaths and kills are important. Early on in the game, if you get, like, a kill, depending on the champion that gets the kill, it can be very tough. Especially if it's like a scaling character, you know? That's also another thing. If you're supposed to be weak early, but you get a kill injection, it can be game winning, you know? It doesn't have to be, but it can be. Not every kill is created equal. As I said, you know, if it's about objectives, they're important. If it's about pressure, they're important. Just, you know, imagine your entire team dies and then you kill the enemy support and you also die. The value of killing that support is extremely low, you know? It doesn't really do much for winning the game. A better alternative would have, you know, probably been to try to trade an objective on the other side of a map instead of trying to kill that support. That's all about just gaining resources, you know? You want to think about kills in the way of which resources can I gain to actually win the game? And a lot of the times, there's better things to do than trying to kill your opponent. In a lot of scenarios, you can chunk your opponent, you know, pressure him off and threaten a kill, and that is more valuable. You know, if your opponent is 1 HP and he stays in lane while not being able to really farm, you can zone him. That is more valuable than just killing him. He comes back and farms 2 waves, right? So it's kind of difficult to think about kills. People think about KDAs and kills and stuff like that. It's a lot more complicated than you would initially think, you know? There's KDA players. They're not very much, you know, respected in many ways because they are wasting the potential of pressure. If you just go around and kill, you're losing objectives. Like, the game is not won by killing enemies in a sense. Kills are very important as a vehicle to win the game, but they are not the reason why you win the game. Kills only give golden experience. If you can't use these kills and I can't even speak, this experience and gold to actually kill the Nexus, then it's useless. It's completely useless. If you're Jenna going 50-0, have 50 kills, you're full build, full support, it can be strong. You can maybe end the game, but if you have 4 AFKs on your team, it doesn't matter, right? So it's a lot more complicated. It's like, I wouldn't say sadly, but it is very complicated, and it's difficult to wrap your head around because even look at this OPGG. You see KDA in like 50 different places. You see deaths and kills and assists, and none of these really say all that much. You know, you see my Aurora game with 3 deaths, 0 kills. What's the story of that game? You think I just inted and we lost? Nah, of course, you know. My team was just fully inting. I tried my best. I died 3 times because I was playing 1v5 and we lost in 15 minutes, you know. And the same thing with or a similar thing with the Briar game, year 3 and 9. You know, I was at the objective, our team fought, we lost the fights at the objective. Even though it was closer than my KDA would have suggested, I got a lot of gold still. We still lost, you know? Like, you can't really see the story of the game from this stat, and I feel like the most important stats are the stats where you can actually see the story of the game, such as like turret damage, objective damage, which objectives did you get, things like that, you know? And that is the story about kills, just to maybe, you know, give you another idea on how to think about kills, and maybe it can help you in your game to figure some things out, okay? Have a nice day and enjoy.
Have they forgotten us yet, little lamb?
All still know us, though they try to forget. Soon, we will remind them.